Hey everyone, Rich Gasaway here. You know, for the last couple of weeks I've been talking at the front end of each podcast about the new online academy. Well, I want to let you know that the early enrollment special has been extended to December 15th. Apparently, from the number of emails that I received, there's a lot of folks who were off Thanksgiving week. The deadline kind of snuck up on them. And then I got notified by some that they simply just needed more time to get the approvals for their funding. So the deadline has been extended from November 30 to December 15th. For all who've enrolled, the access to the classes start in January. Now, to clarify, you don't have to start your class in January if you sign up for the academy, if you take advantage of the early enrollment. You don't have to start in January. You can take the courses anytime you want to start. It's just the academy opens for students to start taking classes in January. So if you want to take advantage of the early enrollment special now, you can start taking classes anytime next year that you wanted to. It doesn't have to be in January. If you want to learn more, I dedicated episode 132 of the podcast to explaining the academy's features. And then episode 136, I dedicated to answering questions about the academy. If you're one of the more than 54,000 first responders who've participated in one of my live events, you know I teach things that aren't taught in any other classes you've ever attended. Even those who have taken situational awareness classes, say in the wildland arena, tell me all the time that they're learning things about situational awareness in my classes in a whole new way. And that's the goal. And if you've attended a live event and you want to take your understanding of situational awareness to a whole new level, the Academy is the way to do that. It's the equivalent of a 3-day program. Okay, if you want to visit the Academy page on the website, just go to samatters.com/academy. samatters.com/academy. Or just go to samatters.com and click the green button on the right side of the homepage that says Online Academy. It really is that easy. And I'd like to thank everybody who did sign up. I set some goals for pre-enrollment, and we far surpassed the goal. So I'm very, very, very pleased with that. And I think that those who've signed up, will be very pleased with their learning experience as well. So thanks, everybody. Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com. Hello, and welcome to episode 137 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence environments. The SA Matters mission is simple: to help you see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes. I'm coming to you today from Durham, North Carolina, where I'm in town to deliver 2 situational awareness programs for the International Association of Fire Chiefs Officer Development Series. The attendance here was outstanding, and something happened here this morning that has never happened in any program that I have ever done, and that has literally been thousands of programs. The attendees bought every book and video that I brought with me before the program even started. I know, right? They were lining up as I was unpacking the box. And someone asked if I would mind if they bought 3 of the books before the program started. And that started the avalanche. And before the program even got kicked off, all the books and videos were sold. It was crazy. And I don't take that many with me. I just bring them along in case somebody has an interest in the books or videos. And I do sell them at a discount at the programs. But that was just crazy. I just never seen anything like it. So Hats off to the firefighters in and around the Durham area for their passion for learning and education. That was impressive, I got to tell you. One of the questions I get asked a lot by readers and listeners is, when are you coming to my area? I want to attend a program, or where are you going to be next? It's really easy to find out. There's a link to the schedule of my upcoming events right on the SA Matters homepage. All you have to do is click the blue box on the right side of the homepage labeled Upcoming Events Schedule. If you're interested in hosting a Situational Awareness Matters Tour Stop program for 2017 for your department or your association or your region, just contact me through the samatters.com website. There's a Contact Us tab. Just click on that and we'll get something set up for you. This content that I teach in these programs is truly, truly life-saving. I have responders tell me all the time that they'll never look at another emergency scene the same way after taking the class. Well, Shazam. Ain't that the goal? Helping you to see the bad things coming and time to avoid the bad outcomes. Don't wait. Seriously, don't wait. I'm actively booking the 2017 programs now, and roughly 40% of the year's programs have already been booked. Hey, if you want to save some money, here's a tip for how you can save some money on a program, get a program at a reduced cost. I schedule many what I call companion programs. These are programs on adjoining days to other programs. So if you see I'm delivering a program within a few hours of where your department is and you think you might want to tag along as a companion, contact me. You can save as much as 20% off the program cost for being a companion to an existing program. I do roughly 30 of these companion programs each year, and no one ever complains about saving money on the travel expenses. That can be like $1,500 saved. Airfare, hotel, rental car, meals. Saving $1,500 and getting a great training event, that's what I call a win-win. Some of you know that I also do officer development programs. When your organization gets sick and tired of being sick and tired of those undesirable, uncommitted, unprofessional, undedicated, and selfish members that are destroying the morale and sucking the life out of all of your good people, contact me for a program that will teach you a better way of leadership and a better way of committed followership. But don't contact me until you're truly fed up and ready to lead your team differently. When will that time be right? Oh, I think you'll know when it's right. When what you're doing just isn't working and you're at your wit's end. I mentioned this in a few previous episodes, the Company Officer Development Institute. And right away I had 6 departments contact me about hosting this program for their department and for their company officers. The Company Officer Development Institute is a 5-day program with no PowerPoint. No PowerPoint. Did you hear that? No PowerPoint. There's no book either. This program was developed to help company officers with the skills they need to be successful at the company level. My co-facilitator, Indianapolis Fire Captain Patrick Harper, and I share best practices for leadership, problem solving, conflict resolution, teamwork, motivation, generational leadership, discipline, coaching for performance improvement, and more. The program truly is customized for the issues that your department will be facing. That's one of the reasons we don't use the PowerPoint. You never know exactly what the content of the class is going to be till you get there. You never know what the pain points are. You never know what issues are causing the officers the greatest angst. And the second reason we don't use PowerPoint is, well, who wants death by PowerPoint, right? We frankly believe there's a better way to teach company officers how to be successful leaders using facilitated adult learning techniques. We've developed those techniques and used them in 29 previous week long offerings of this program to fire departments throughout the United States. It's always amazing on Monday when we say we're not going to use PowerPoint, the looks of bewilderment that we get, and then by Friday the comments that we get are pretty consistent. Where did this week go? It seems like we just got started. Yes, when adults are engaged in the process of learning and not just being lectured to, learning can be fun. And the important part is the lessons stick. When I'm talking to chief officers about why they might want to host a Company Officer Development Institute, I explain it this way. We're going to ensure your company officers leave with the skills needed to keep problems out of your office. They'll learn how to prevent and resolve problems at their level and not let them get to your level. In December, the Scott Township Fire Department, Indiana, will be hosting the 30th offering of the Company Officer Development Institute. And because Scott Township is a combination department, the program format is being customized for them. 3 weekday evenings followed by a weekend. We do offer shorter programs, too, for departments that only would perhaps want a weekend version. If this sounds like something you're interested in, have your chief or training officer visit SA Matters website and click on the Contact Us link. And we'll get something set up. Okay, in today's episode, I'm going to talk about managing radio traffic and how to ensure that the right things are being said at the right time on the radio. And the right things are not being said when they don't need to be. I'm going to jump right into the feature segment, but when I'm done, stick around because I'm going to announce the upcoming Situational Awareness Matters Tour Stop events. Okay, onward to the feature segment on managing radio traffic. When it comes to first responder radio traffic, I'm reminded of the tale of Goldilocks and the 3 bears. You may recall that in the story, Goldilocks samples 3 bowls of porridge. One is too hot, one is too cold, and the third is just right. This lesson applies directly to first responder situational awareness and the role that radio communications plays in helping to develop and maintain situational awareness. To start, let's review what is required for communications to occur. There needs to be someone transmitting a message. We'll call them the sender. There has to be a way for that message to be sent. We'll call that the medium. Then there has to be someone to receive the message. We'll call that the receiver. While communications is most often verbal, it doesn't have to be. Humans have the ability to engage in complex communications, which means we can convey messages with just looks, or gestures, or symbols. A flat open hand, face down, with fingers pointing toward the throat, sweeping back and forth is one example of a non-verbal sign that may be interpreted as the meaning stop or stop doing that. We can communicate in many ways, giving a certain look, images, signs, words, sounds like a grunt or a ugh, music, colors, symbols. Here we're going to focus on radio communications. Visual imaging. When you hear descriptive information shared over the radio, your ears process the sound waves into electrical impulses that are then sent off to the auditory processors in the brain. You have 2 of them, one behind each ear. However, for comprehension to occur, which is different than hearing, the verbal message is then sent over to the visual processor of the brain to be sketched into an image. Stated simply, your thoughts are drawn into visual images using your visuospatial sketchpad. This concept was first revealed by psychologist Alan Badley, as he sought to explain the role of imagery in short-term memory capacities. Once sketched, one of 2 things then happens to the message. The information can be retained, which means it'll be transitioned into long-term memory, or it can be erased, which means it's forgotten. There are a variety of factors that helps to determine which will happen, including repetition of the message or repetition of the thought of the message, and the degree to which the message elicits an emotional response. Sparing you all the detail, simply know that audible messages are sketched into visual images, and it is those very images that help form and maintain your situational awareness. If the images are sharp and accurate, we are said to have good situational awareness. If the images are unclear or inaccurate, we are assumed to have flawed situational awareness. The visual processor of the brain is a busy place during emergency incidents because it's doing double duty. It's processing everything that you see into visual images, and it's processing everything that you hear into visual images. This can be both an asset and a liability, and the outcome depends on the quantity and the quality of the visual and auditory inputs. As it relates to auditory messages, the more clear the message is, the easier it is for the brain to sketch it. That doesn't have to do any guessing. The corollary being, the less clear that the message is, the harder it is for the brain to sketch an accurate image. Overload. While the visual processor has a tremendous capacity to capture and comprehend, meaning sketch, visual and audible information, it can be overloaded. And when it becomes overloaded, some very undesirable things can happen. The visual processor can begin filtering out messages, and quite literally, it can shut down completely. If it shuts down vision, it's called stress-induced blindness. If it shuts down hearing, it's called auditory exclusion. No filters. The brain has no way to filter important auditory messages from non-important auditory messages. To comprehend the meaning of a message requires completing the intake and processing of the entire message. Only after the image is sketched into meaning can the brain determine if it was an important message or not. It takes the brain the same amount of effort to distinguish an important message from a non-important message. When there's a lot of radio traffic, the brain has to process and comprehend every message. If there's a lot of unimportant messages being shared over the radio, the audible and visual processors can quickly become overloaded. When insufficient information is shared by radio, the brain cannot sketch an accurate image of what is happening. The key for radio traffic is to practice the Goldilocks rule. Not too much, not too little, just right. But when do you know if radio traffic is too much or too little or just right? One way is to listen to tapes of radio traffic from previous incidents. Sometimes it's not readily apparent how much or how little radio traffic there is until you listen to the audio tapes. Would a person who was not at the call be able to understand what was happening at the scene based on just listening to the radio traffic? Another way to evaluate the quality of communications is to ask the responders who were at the scene if they understood what was happening based on the radio traffic that they were listening to. It can also be enlightening to have responders listen to the tape of the radio traffic and then ask them how much of the radio traffic they didn't hear the first time when it was being transmitted. One of the consequences of too much radio traffic is that we can stop listening. When there's too much radio traffic, the message can be turned into noise and be tuned out by the receiver. This can inflict a responder at the scene on the front lines, and it can also inflict the incident commanders. Here's some things to consider. Evaluate both the quantity and the quality of your radio communications. Ensure that only essential messages are transmitted by radio, and that the sender of the message is using terms that are easily processed and comprehended. Discuss what radio traffic is critical to share and what traffic is unnecessary. Determine if a component of the operation could have been taken to a separate channel or talk group without impacting incident scene safety. Discuss how to incorporate training on radio communications into department drills. Radio communications is far too important to assume that responders will know what to say, how to say it, and when they don't need to say it at all. Okay, as I always do, I'd like to take a moment to thank the departments and organizations that have hosted some recent Situational Awareness Matters tour stop events. I do this to show my appreciation to those organizations who put forth the effort to organize, advertise, and fund great training experiences for their members and for others in their region. Your efforts to bring this powerful training on situational awareness and high-risk decision-making is very appreciated. Recent tour stops included the Davenport, Iowa Fire Department, the International Association of Fire Chiefs Volunteer and Combination Officer Section Symposium in the Sun, and where I am now in Durham, North Carolina for the International Association of Fire Chiefs Officer Development Program, funded in part by a grant from Motorola Solutions. By the time this episode airs, I will have completed a 5-day Company Officer Development Institute in Scott Township in the Evansville, Indiana area. On December 6th, which will probably be the day this episode airs, I will be delivering 2 programs at the All Hazards Incident Management Team Conference in Oklahoma City. Okay, you heard me mention earlier in the show about companion programs. This next run of programs is a prime example of how agencies took advantage of companion programs. December 11th, I'll be flying into Pittsburgh, and then on December 11th, I'll be doing a program for Oakland District Fire Department in New Cumberland, West Virginia. December 12th, for Jefferson County LEPC in Steubenville, Ohio. December 13th for the Swissville Fire Department in Pennsylvania. December 14th for the Minerva Fire Department in Ohio. And December 15th for the Western Reserve Fire Department in Poland, Ohio. 1 airplane ride, 5 agencies companion together to get great training at a great price. See how that's done? It's that simple. The award for hosting the final SA Matters Tour Stop event in 2016 will go to the Peters Township Fire Department in McMurray, Pennsylvania, hosting a program on the evening of December 26. Thanks so much for all the program hosts, and here's hoping there'll be a tour stop near you and we'll get a chance to meet up. While I was delivering programs in southwest Minnesota, I had the opportunity to stop by and visit my awesome, amazing sponsor, Midwest Fire. They make all poly fire apparatus that's changing the industry. You seriously need to check them out, MidwestFire.com. I got a chance to sit down and talk to a few of their employees about what separates Midwest Fire from their competitors. And here I got a chance to talk with account executive Dalton Lingbeck about that all poly design of the Midwest Fire trucks. Let's listen in. Okay, Dalton, I see in the advertisements that one of the things that differentiates Midwest Fire from their competitors is this all poly design. So what does that mean, all poly? Describe that for me.
Yeah, well, poly is actually pretty common in the industry. Poly tanks are seen inside bodies all over. Manufacturers do them all the time. They've started around the 80s, I believe. But all poly means that our tank and body is all poly integrated. It's one big superstructure. You're not sliding a tank inside of a body. You're not sliding a tank anywhere. It's actually one big built body that we do, and it's made of 3/4 inch copolymer. It's extremely durable, and it's industrial grade, and it's the kind of poly you can beat the crap out of.
Okay, well, I'm a little bit of a skeptic there, because you say that poly is durable, and I own a lot of things that are plastic. In fact, I was just at home last week, and we had this appliance that had plastic parts on it, and I accidentally dropped it on the floor, and it didn't shatter, but it just cracked so easy, and I only dropped it, a couple of feet. So I'm a skeptic. When you say poly is durable, I think I think of poly or plastic as something that isn't durable, that's going to crack easy or dent easy. So you got to convince me on this one.
Well, yeah, trusted shoes definitely come up with poly. But let me grab down here something really quick. As you can probably see on the screen right now, this is a piece of poly that we use. It is the same type of material, the same thickness. It's 3/4 inch. And what you might notice on here is it has bullet holes. So basically, if you trust a bulletproof vest to take bullet holes, I mean, when they first tested it, they wanted to shoot holes through it and see if it worked. And you couldn't shoot holes through it. So what do? We did the same exact thing. We wanted to shoot holes in the theory that poly wasn't durable and poly wasn't reliable. And we tried to shoot holes through it, but as you can see right here, the bullets actually could not go through. And there's actually a bullet stuck in the bottom of this one because it wouldn't get all the way through. Now, truth be told, there was one weapon that did go through this piece of poly, and it was a 30-06 high caliber rifle. It did go through, but that's a 30-06 high caliber rifle.
So it was a 45 caliber on the other side?
Yep.
And so what I'm looking at is essentially there's marks on the poly where the bullets hit, but as you show me the backside, it didn't go all the way through.
No, yeah, and the backside doesn't even have any dents on the backside.
Huh.
Actually, when we were doing this test video, one of the bullets, I think it was on the 380, actually bounced off and back towards the person that shot the piece of poly. So no, the bullets did not go through. They actually either stuck in there or they bounced off.
Okay.
That's how strong this stuff actually is.
All right, so there you have it, right from the horse's mouth, shooting holes, literally, in the concept that poly is not a durable product on which to build a fire truck. So if you're interested in learning more, check them out at MidwestFire.com. Thank you to Midwest Fire President Sarah Atchison and to all your staff for your awesome commitment to improving first responder safety. I really, really appreciate your support of my mission. If you're interested in seeing all the locations for the upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stops, just head over to the website and click on the blue box on the right side of the homepage that says Upcoming Events Schedule. Now, the schedule changes often, so you'll need to check back often. If you want to give me some suggestions about how to improve this show, just shoot me an email by going to the Contact Us link on the website. If you're not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red box on the right side of the homepage. It says Free Membership. If you're already a subscriber, contact someone that you think might benefit from the show and ask them to subscribe. And I really appreciate that. The reviews and the comments that I get from members who contact me through the website is very inspiring. If you're a podcaster, you already know that podcasting is a labor of love. A whole lot of time and effort goes into producing and recording and editing the show and lining up the guests. And your feedback lets me know you appreciate that. I don't mind hearing it, really. If you want to get connected with me on social media, you can do that through Twitter. Just follow @RichGasaway on Twitter. The SA Matters Twitter community, between my two Twitter feeds of Rich Gasaway and SA Matters, is about a little over 17,000. Thanks to everybody who comes along on the Twitter feed. All those tweets are mine. Nobody tweets for me. On LinkedIn, you can find me by searching Rich Gasaway on LinkedIn. Oh, and remember, swing by the website and check out the online academy by clicking the green button on the right side of the homepage. I get asked, why so many platforms, Rich? You got a blog, you got a podcast, you got Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, the online academy, live events, books, videos. Because I know not every first responder consumes their content the same way on the same platform, and I'm trying to reach you by whatever platform you prefer most. Well, that's it. Episode 137 is complete. Thank you to our podcast sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to all of our live event hosts. Thank you to all of our online academy students. And thank you, our listeners, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.